Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Book 2 of Winter of the World by Michael Scott Rohan, which is The Forge in the Forest. And I love this book. I took a little too long with it, so I think my rating was a little lower than what it could have been, but I am going to scale the rating a little bit because it did take me 2 weeks to read this. This was a very slow book, I felt like, in terms of just how much prose he was showing off, because this definitely felt like a Tad Williams book where everything, every object, every just anything, action, there's so much description. I love the events in this book. I love the characters. I love Kamorvin especially. I think he was the highlight of this book. Finding out he has a brother, finding out he has so much more going on behind him than I thought there was. I thought it was just amazing. I loved Elif, this book, and it was only until this book that I realized that his name is basically Elf, but you have an extra letter in there, O. But he was really cool, this book, and I really loved everything with the forest. The entire story of this book is basically that our crew of fun characters, they're supposed to be getting to the west, I believe, going through this unmapped forest that is super huge, has tons of mountains. It's basically Fangorn Forest, but even bigger. Like, that's how big it is, and no one knows anything about it. And people who go in, they do not come back out. So I love that story hook. It got me going, and then as I was reading it, there was so much description. If I had read it a little faster, because I did have a lot of stuff I had to do for work the last 2 weeks, excuse me. But because of that, I wasn't able to read this as much. But when I could read it, like, I always wanted to read more. But it was just really hard to find time, and I really loved more of the magic, learning more about the sort of how magical items are created and sort of how the feelings go into it. And I really love the showdown that we had at the end of this book. It felt very, maybe because I just read it like 2 books ago or something, but it felt very Book of the Long Sun, the ending, and I really loved that. I loved that we got a lot of really big creatures showing up. I love kaiju and creatures like that in movies. So seeing more of that in fantasy, like, I always love that. It's always fun to get that. And I just cannot wait to get to book 3, which is like the Hammer and the Sun, something like that. But I really, really enjoy this series. It's not something that I think is super new. There's a lot of tropes that is sort of borrowing from Tolkien. Like, the story of this trilogy so far, to me, feels like because Celebrimbor was the one who helped Sauron create the rings, and then Sauron took the rings and then left. And that's a very, very apt comparison for the series, because our main character is a smith, and he creates all these very magical weapons with this master smith, and then the master smith takes it, and then he has to go track it down. And you get a lot of great exploration between characters. I love the character of Ilse, for example. She was just such a star. She really rounded out the cast, I felt like, because we have a lot of sort of emotional moments where our characters are going through a revelation or an epiphany. And they have these moments where they're sitting at a campfire and they talk, and it feels very Malazan, which is like my favorite part of Malazan, is when the soldiers sit down at the campfire and they talk, philosophy and the events that are going on and how it relates to, like, the human condition and all that stuff. But this series is definitely more Tad Williams, where it's a lot more about the descriptions and a lot more about the making you feel. It's a lot more transportive is what I'm looking for, the word I'm looking for, because you definitely feel transported to a new world when you're reading this book. And I love that about fantasy. It's my favorite thing. I don't always want to live in our world, and this world is really cool too, because there's a lot of ancient history going on too. Because the thing that the sentient ice, or I don't want to call it the sentient ice cube, but the sentient glacier that is swallowing villages, we get a scene with that, this book, and it was amazing. I love that. But the thing that I wanted to focus on was that this glacier resurrects dead bodies and has them fight, the good guys. And I really loved everything with that. It was very A Song of Ice and Fire, even though this came out in 1989. It was before Game of Thrones came out, which I think was 1996. But it was just so fascinating reading this book as much as I could, like in single sittings. I was only doing like 30 to 50 pages at a time. So it took me a long time to get through this book. But I loved it. I really enjoyed this book. I think I'll give it like a 8.5. It's not as good as book one. Book one, I think, was a lot more action heavy and had a lot more going on in the story, which is fine. I think they're both amazing. But this was just such a joy to read, and I want to thank Colin again for recommending it to me, because I would have never heard of this. And yeah, so I'm very excited to continue to book 3, which I think is The Hammer and the Sun. Yep, The Hammer of the Sun. I have it up there in hardback. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this series, or if you've even heard of it. This is a very low count ratings on Goodreads. It's like maybe not even at 1,000. Like, I don't know, but not many people have talked about this book on BookTube, so I hope more people are inspired to based off my reviews. But thank you all so much for watching, and please have a great rest of the day.